Thank you, guys. My name's Jami Lynn, and I'm so glad you came to my Abundance, Love, and Bliss webinar. It's the first webinar I've taught in a long time. In fact, it's the first webinar I've taught. I used to do audio seminars, but webinars are very interesting, and I love using the new technology. And if you'll just bear with me as I learn and as we go through this thing, I always like to push the limits. And typically webinars don't have the video and the webcam there, but I want to look into your eyes as much as I can. And depending on your video streaming, sometimes my mouth might not be moving the same as you hear my voice. But you know what? It's okay. You guys are used to YouTube, so I think it's all right. And I'm really grooving with this content, and for sure grooving with what I'm about to share with you tonight. And just so you know, I've got a very exciting presentation planned for you tonight. And typically my presentations run a little bit longer than anticipated, just because I always want to share so much. So just be a little prepared for that, because I just have so much to share with you. So if you'll just follow along with me and sit back and enjoy the ride, and if you guys want to have a little wine, pretend that you're sharing some with me, okay? So anyway, here we go. Your home is either a nurturing sanctuary or not. And today I want to share all the secrets with you in order to design a beautiful home and a nurturing sanctuary. And these are the things that I'm going to be sharing with you tonight, step by step. So there's a lot to look forward to. The first is the law of attraction versus the law of Mother Nature. And if those of you had seen the little preview that I shared with you a little bit, I'm always reminded of that butter commercial where this beautiful goddess is in a beautiful garden, and she goes, "Kakung, you can't fool Mother Nature." And she definitely takes priority from a very logical perspective, which we're going to talk about as we continue. I want to talk about the difference between sunrise and sunset. What is a Feng Shui storm? Bad hair days, and the difference between house astrology and real astrology. And then, that's not all. Then we're going to get into the real juicy stuff. And I'm going to share the 4 most important aspects of Feng Shui with you. This is known as the real Bagua. The Bagua, which you may or may not know, is the earth energy earth, heaven, and man energy template. It comes from the I Ching and the 3 trigrams, heaven, earth, and man, that define what your energy template is in your house. And those include your best directions, your life aspirations, which I consider the icing on the cake. That's the typical Bagua that most Feng Shui practitioners use only, and I feel it's very, very, very limited, and I'll explain why in a little bit. I'm going to teach you about your Natal Flying Stars, or house astrology, and that defines the colors in your furniture placement, as well as your house astrology for your yearly and monthly energies too. Okay, so that's what we're going to do. And right now, I'd love you to set your intentions about what you'd like to get out of the time that we're spending together while I share mine with you. And what I'd like to do is be able to, let me see if I can get this happening at the same time, because I've got some notes here. Except I really want to be looking in your eyes. It's, the technology is kind of weird, so I can't kind of do both. Anyway, Feng Shui, here we go. I'll pretend that I know what I'm doing with this technology. Feng Shui can hurt you as much as it can help you, and part of what I want to do tonight is to dismiss a lot of these popularized misnomers that keep on getting populated over and over again, and that are either hurting people or they're saying that they're not working. And I'm going to give you the logic of why that is, and this is what intention that I am setting with you tonight. And item number 3, I want to raise Feng Shui consciousness so you know the difference. And maybe, just maybe, it is my hope and really big intention that Feng Shui people out there who are just who are just practicing and keep propagating what I call the baby Bagua, the one that doesn't have the consistency as the real Bagua with all the layers that I'm going to teach you, I'm hoping that you will raise the bar. And by you raising the bar, it'll force Feng Shui experts to learn what I'm teaching in order for them to help educate others and really bring Feng Shui into what it was meant to do. And I want you to know everything that I practice and everything that I'm going to share with you, I practice for myself, and you'll see some of the examples of that as we continue. So that is my intention. So section number 1, law of attraction. Can you just see Mother Nature doing that butter? I think it's a butter commercial or something way back then. And since ancient times, I want to remind you what Feng Shui is. It means wind and water for those of my newbies out there and for those of you who don't know. And it's based upon universal earth design. You know, earth design was the title of my first book because Feng Shui follows the rhythms of nature. And when you think about nature, there's nothing intuitive about it. There's nothing intentional about it. We'll talk a little bit more about this later, even though intuition and intention is vital life skills. What real Feng Shui is paying attention to the natural laws, the earth magnetics, the cycles of time like the seasons. And as consistently as the sun will rise tomorrow, this is the Feng Shui that you can practice, and that's what I'm going to share with you tonight. So here we go. Sunset and sunrise, basic knowledge. There's a lot, one of the misnomers that's out there is there suggests that there's one energy map or one Bagua map that is universal to everybody's home. And I can't and here it's kind of illustrated here, except I've got the directional energies on this Bagua map because I feel it's very important to really start paying attention to the direction your house is facing. And because of all the layers that I'm going to teach you, there you go, they all line up with each other. And I know everyone out there has experienced the difference between a sunrise and a sunset, right? Well, of course you have. And you also know that an eastern-facing house will warm up in the morning, whereas a western-facing house will warm up in the evening, which means that there's a very different feeling to an eastern and western-facing house, even from logic alone, even from feeling the difference between the sunrise and the sunset on the house. So basic logic will tell you that Feng Shui is not one size fits all, and it depends on the house direction your house is facing to determine how all of these energies that I'm going to share with you line up. And you know what? It's a kooky notion to even suggest that there would be one universal Bagua map or energy map for everyone's house. Why? My shoes are different sizes than yours. My shirt's a different size. Our body styles are different. Our architectural layouts are all different. And, of course, the energies and the way the earth magnetics fits on the house feels differently, too. And when these practitioners who don't use the Bagua or the energies according to magnetic directions, I just want to say to them, that's what Feng Shui is all about. The reason why the earth is even hanging in the heavens, heaven energy, we're going to learn that too for house astrology and flying star Feng Shui, that's why the earth is hanging in the middle of the heavens, because of earth magnetics and the magnetic pull. So that's the first thing, the difference between sunrise and sunset. So there you go. I just turned this little Bagua map, or this is the Bagua map, or the life aspirations part of the Bagua map. And there's, as I mentioned before, there are 4 layers, and we're going to go over all of them. So here I've just turned the Bagua map to face an east-facing house. It's so simple. Think earth magnetics, everybody. Here's a western facing house, so you'll see how the Bagua energy turns. And I forgot to show you, here you go, I love this toy. I forgot to show it to you a little bit earlier. I'm not paying attention to my notes, by the way. I'm just doing a free stream for all here. Whenever I think about notes, I write them and then I never use them. Okay, so it depends. I love this toy because it indicates the layers of Feng Shui and how you do your analysis. First of all, you have to orient your house toward the facing direction and the energy template. And what we are then going to do is add layers. Isn't this great? By the way, you think I'm going to be showing this toy a lot and how these energies spin and so on as they layer upon each other, but I want you to know something that I just discovered. You think this is a basic toy. I started playing with it when I teach Feng Shui as well as when I teach color alchemy, the content in my new award-winning book, and then I found out that the mathematics, the earth energy, if you will, that defines this toy is based upon the Fibonacci numbers as well as the 1010 binary system, which creates computer technology as well as the Mayan calendar. See, there's a factoid I didn't promise you. You'll never know what you're going to get with me. All right, back to the law of attraction and Mother Nature. Mother Nature again always wins. There's Feng Shui storms, and Feng Shui storms are divorce, bankruptcy, financial loss, losing a job, having other emotional heartache, losing a loved one, having, conflicts with your children, and so on. And these are all based upon, you can actually predict them according to the layers of Feng Shui that I'm going to explain to you, very similar to the way an astrologer can predict what's happening with your life. Feng Shui can predict exactly what's going to happen with your life as well. So I want to tell you a little story because it explains what Feng Shui can really do, and I don't think that most Feng Shui practitioners really understand this. And I can read a floor plan with all these layers that I'm going to explain to you right on the phone with somebody. I don't even need to be there with them. And I remember I was doing a phone consultation, reading somebody's floor plan with all the layers, and they hadn't built their house yet. And based upon the layers that I was seeing, I was able to see that there was someone in the household, and as I start doing the analysis, I might not be exactly clear who the person is, that there might be that they might have a physical disposition, or might not be good for marriage, or might not be good for business, or whatever the case may be. And as I was studying the holistic nature of their floor plan, I was looking at their bedroom, I was looking at the orientation of their entrance and their kitchen and so on, and I noticed that even though the house hadn't even broken ground yet, somebody was going to have a predisposition in their chest area, only to find out, I looked at the floor plan a little bit more, and I realized that the wife was going to have some chest issues. And it is fascinating to me that she was a breast cancer survivor. Now, that's a really good thing that she was a breast cancer survivor, but I saw the disposition in the house that they were building that it would not support her well-being and her health. So he made some changes before the construction was even built in order to make sure, to do our best in order to reduce the possibility for this. Now, what's the point? With real Feng Shui, not only, it's so much far beyond putting a doodah in the marriage corner or a doodah in the wealth corner. It's about really being able to predict and see when there are going to be some Feng Shui storms that are coming. And typically when I'm doing a consultation, and I've done thousands of consultations, that I'm able, in about 2 hours into it, and this is a very important factoid, that I can see a cycle or a situation that happened in the past. I can see if somebody had a physical ailment, and I can tell people exactly who it was and when they had it. Now, I don't like to spend a lot of time in the past because the past is the past, and it's really important to be in the present. But the point of real Feng Shui is when you see circumstances in the past, you can communicate that with your client, or communicate, as if I'm talking to practitioners here, maybe more and more of you will become real Feng Shui practitioners, or you can see these dispositions that happened in your past, and it'll give you the confidence to know that as you read your floor plans and you read the cycles into the future, you can actually see the possibility of the energies that are coming up, and you can reduce them. And we have a slide coming up a little later on. We're not there yet, but